please put those hands together and help me welcome Neela to the stage. Now, if you see anything you like today, anything at all, do not hesitate to make lots of noise for Neela because she really does appreciate it. Now, Neela here is a very special sea lion to us here at the Long Island Aquarium, as she is one of our rescue California sea lions. Now, Neela was a part of an unusual mortality event, or AUME, along the coast of California. Now, this is where a lot of young sea lions were being stranded up on the beaches. This could have been due to fish going further out into the ocean due to warming waters. But Neela was one of these young sea lions that was stranded up on the beaches, and during this time she became very malnourished and dehydrated. Now, there were local rescuers keeping an eye on the situation, and when they saw Neela, they realized she needed a little bit of help. So they brought Neela in and helped nurse her back to health. Now, while Neela was going through this process, they realized that Neela was not a fan of live fish. She would actually swim away from the live fish. Now, Neela also did not like to eat around other sea lions. Now, this is not good for sea lions, as they do hang out in large groups called rookeries out on the beaches. So Neela would not make a good fit for living out in nature on her own, as she would be outcompeted by the other sea lions. So Neela was deemed non-releasable by the government, and instead she came here to live with us, where we can take care of her and make sure she stays nice and healthy. Now, we do also house true seals here at the Long Island Aquarium, like the gray and harbor seals that you may have seen at the front. Now, Neela here, like I said, is a California sea lion, but folks often get these two confused. Now, there are a few differences between sea lions and true seals that we can point out for you with Neela's help. Now, one of those differences can be found in those front flippers. Now, sea lions have very strong and very powerful front flippers. Neela is showing hers off for you. Now, Neela uses these front flippers to help pull herself through the water like you and I use our arms to go swimming. Now, true seals, they use their flippers in the opposite manner to steer rather than pull themselves. There, Neela goes showing off those front flippers and just how powerful they are with those porpoises. Now, another difference you can spot between seals and sea lions can be found in their ears. Sea lions, they have an external ear flap called pinnae, which if you look closely, you can see there on Neela. Now, true seals, they lack this external ear flap, and they just have an internal ear that looks like a small opening behind their eyes. Another difference can be spotted in their necks. Sea lions have very long and very flexible necks, and Neela's going to show you just how long her neck is in just a moment. All right, that was pretty impressive, and Neela's going to step it up another notch. That neck is so long and so flexible that she can actually touch her nose all the way to her back. There we go. That is pretty impressive for a sea lion, a little sea lion like Neela there. Now, true seals, they have just as flexible of a neck. It is just not nearly as long. Now, one last difference, and the main difference that you can spot between seals and sea lions, can be found in those rear flippers. And Neela is pointing out there her rotatable hip bone. Now, that allows her to tuck her rear flippers up and underneath her body like she's doing right now, giving her that ability to walk on all fours. Now, true seals, they lack this rotatable hip bone, so they tend to look a little silly when they come out on land. Now, Neela's actually been to the front and has quite the impression of what a seal looks like on land. So, Neela, why don't you go ahead and show us what your cousins look like? There you go, folks, like a great big fuzzy inchworm scooching around on their bellies. Now, as silly as Neela's being right now, she's absolutely correct. Without that rotatable hip bone, those true seals just stick those rear flippers out behind them and scooch around on their bellies. Now that we've had a chance out here to point out some of those differences, feel free after the show to come on up and check out this habitat, or check out that true seal habitat at the front. See if you can spot some of the differences for yourselves. Now, one of the most popular questions that we get here at the Long Island Aquarium is, how do we train all the amazing behaviors that you've seen throughout your show today? Now, there's a couple of different methods that we can use to do this. One of those methods is called capturing. Now, this is where our animals offer up a behavior all on their own. When we see that behavior, we give them lots and lots of fish for it, increasing the likelihood that they will repeat that behavior. Now, over time, we're able to assign a hand signal to it and ask for it during their training sessions. Now something that Neela did come up with all on her own is her vocals, and she's quite the accomplished singer, so I'm going to turn it over to her. That was quite the beautiful song there, Neela. Now, once again, Neela did offer that up all on her own, and over time we gave her lots of fish for that, increasing the likelihood, and we were able to assign a hand signal to it. Now, there is one other way that we can train our sea lions here, and Neela's going to demonstrate that for us, but first she's going to head inside to continue showing off for you in there. Now, folks, it is important to remember that though Grace and Neela have a very close relationship, it did take a lot of trust and a lot of teamwork to create that bond. So if you ever see a wild animal like Neela out in nature, please do not approach them, as they will not respond to you the same way that Neela here responds to her trainer. And by law, according to the Marine Mammal Protection Act, you're required to stay at least 150 feet away from any marine mammal. Now, all right, folks, it does look like Neela is back, so let me talk to you about that second way that we can train our sea lions. Now, that is a method called a successive approximation. Now, this is where our animals learn a simple but important skill called targeting. They learn to place and hold their nose to our fist like so. Now, once they're comfortable with that, we can transfer that skill to other objects and training tools, like that red and white buoy on a stick called a target pole, or some of their favorite toys throughout their habitat, like that colorful ball suspended high up in the air. Now, once Neela was comfortable targeting that ball while it was still, we could start moving it around and shaping some pretty cool things like jumping. Now, once again, that ball started off at the surface of the water, and over time we raised it higher and higher to the point that it is at today. Now, folks, sea lions can jump about 10 to 12 feet out of the air, which is about twice their body length. But Neela here is quite the little sea lion, and this is going to be her grand finale, so I think we should give her a round of applause to cheer her on for this one. All right, Neela, what do you say? Can you touch that ball? Excellent job, sweetheart, and what a splash. And of course, for doing such a great job with that, and you saw throughout the show a great job with all of her behaviors, Neela was rewarded with lots and lots of her favorite food, which of course is fish. And that's called positive reinforcement, which is how we train all of our animals here at the Long Island Aquarium. But folks, with that amazing splash, it is going to bring us to the end of our presentation. You have been an awesome audience. Can we hear it again for your superstar?